In today's episode, we're going to be looking for patterns of positivity. Now, sometimes we look out for those patterns of negativity, but we're going to be looking for those positive things that, even though they may seem small, really will make a significant difference and impact on your overall process. So let's listen in. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're covering another phenomenal topic today, which is sometimes we'll listen to an isolated phone call and it becomes very easy for that recruiter to say, well, it was just a bad day, I just wasn't feeling it at that moment. So we've talked about this before, but it's looking for patterns. So we're actually going to listen to two calls that are from the same recruiter to look for patterns, both positive things that are going on, as well as maybe some things that we could learn from and do better next time. So let's jump in, listen to both calls, and we'll provide some commentary along the way.
Limbrook Machinery, Ed Rooney speaking. How can I help you?
How's it going? This is Cameron Fry. I was just reaching out. I just submitted an application for the service technician role. I was wondering if you guys are still looking to fill it.
Yeah, we are still looking, Cameron. I haven't seen your application yet. Do you have any experience or tools?
Yeah, I have my own tools. I'm currently doing general contracting, so I have tools for pretty much everything. I have experience with.
So this is a different type of call. So the individual who's answering the phone is screening. And so they are asking a few questions up front, getting to know the prospective candidates before they're passing them on for an interview. And so I think it's important to be aware of that this isn't, a full-scale interview process here. This is just trying to figure out who's on the other end, what are they looking for, could it potentially be a good fit before we move them on to the next step in the process here, which is really common in a lot of talent acquisition spaces, for there to be kind of a multi-step process here, whereas in the driver recruiting world, it's often all happens in one phone call. Not always, but that's often how it's set up, is it all happens in one call. This is a little bit different, and I think there's some good things that we can take away from this. So one thing we want to pay attention to here is what kind of screening questions are being used on the front end. And is this recruiter being consistent across both calls with the questions they're asking?
Doors, windows, subframing. So I started off in the industry, factory. So, I picked up a lot of knowledge throughout the years that I feel are pretty, useful as a service technician and everything.
Okay. Now, we work on forklifts. Have you ever worked on something like that before, Cameron?
All right, something else I love about the individual doing the screening, and part of the reason why I selected these calls is we often give recruiters a hard time and just focus in on what maybe they could be doing better. But something I really like about this individual is brings a really good energy, right? It seems genuinely enthused to speak with these individuals. After the initial question, the candidate started going down a path that maybe doesn't fit exactly what they're looking for. And this is just a nice guy. Instead of cutting him off and being like, no, that's completely wrong, he's re-steering the conversation to see if it might still be a good fit. So we'll keep listening, but initially, the individual did not answer the question the way that he was hoping, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I've worked on forklifts. Are they battery or gas powered?
Both.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I have experience working on forklifts, hydraulic lines and everything like that. I used to work at Genie Paint and Powder, where I used to take care of, stand-up forklifts there, and they were all batteries. So it was replenishing with water and everything like that, make sure the batteries and everything were all good, hydraulic lines all set. Yeah, we used to swap out a couple hydraulic lines every now and then, but main repairs and everything like that, were stuff like that. We also had contractors that we'd call and we'd be able to, work alongside with, take care of some of those other issues.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, that sounds very promising, Cameron. I'm going to go ahead and I'll have George call you tomorrow. His name is George Peterson,
Okay.
and he's our service manager in Chicago. I'm going to have him call you tomorrow, and he'll chat with you. And I hope he'll set up an interview. But yeah, I'm glad you called me, and I'll ask George to give you a call tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling, Cameron. We'll talk soon.
Looking forward to meeting you.
You too. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, so pretty quick, like we talked about. The next one we listen to, it's going to be very similar in regards to how short it is. But once again, I like the energy. I like that he just genuinely seems excited to be speaking with that individual, which goes a really long way. It rubs off on the person calling in where they become more excited about the opportunity. Now, once again, we'll look for patterns here across both calls, so we won't get into it too much, but could the call have been longer? I don't know that we learned everything that we needed to on that call, but maybe the second call will be different. Let's tap into that one and see how it goes. So let me cue this up.
Limbrook Machinery, Ed Rooney speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, my name is Ferris Bueller. I applied to you guys' position on Indeed.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you very much. So what city are you looking for? And I'm sorry, what's your first name?
Ferris. Last name is Bueller.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking in the Chicago area.
So once again, I really do appreciate the fact that he's excited to speak with this individual, and it comes through that, thank you for calling in, thank you for showing an interest in what we're doing here. I think it's real easy for people that are either placing calls all day or receiving calls all day to get stuck in a rut where the enthusiasm's gone and it just feels like the same thing over and over again. But really important to realize that you're talking to different people and bring that energy every time. So I like the way he's going about his business here.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're looking for someone with some experience and some tools. How are you set up with experience and any tools?
So I have experience I have a lot of experience in automotive, and I used to work.
So his go-to question so far, once again, looking for some patterns here, is do you have experience and tools? And a couple really important things as it relates to the job, but maybe some things that are missing there, like what's got you interested in the first place? What are you looking for? Why are you looking? Would be some additional things that would help us better understand who we're speaking with and what their motivations are.
For this company called Hughes Mechanical. It was a plumbing company, but they also had a forklift. And so I'd change their tires, and like when I got there, it was very run down. So I would just change their tires, change the propane tanks, changed a couple of propane hoses. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with forklifts, but I would like to be in automotive. I assume you guys need people with experience with. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys like an OBED 2 scanner. No?
A lot of our people come from the automotive industry, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience with an OBED 2 scanner. I can pull out a motor, drop in a motor, drop a transmission, install a transmission. I do the whole 9 yards with a car.
Oh, okay.
Tool-wise, I just got the regular tools because I moved from my apartment that had a garage, and because I moved to another place without having a garage, I got rid of a lot of tools. But I still have my regular DeWalt mechanic toolbox and a couple of drills, stuff like that.
Okay, well, yeah, that sounds great. We'd love to meet with you.
So once again, at this point, he's just screening. He's not making any final decisions, but just kind of deciding, does he move this individual forward to the next step? But I do like, now we want to be realistic for sure, but I do like that he's looking for reasons to say yes. I think oftentimes when we get stuck in those ruts of talking to person after person after person, we start looking for all those reasons to say no. And I get it. We're held accountable. We want to make sure we're getting the right hire. We've got to work with our safety departments and HR. And so, yes, there's things that are non-negotiable. But early on in the process, making the individual feel good and important, I like how this guy goes about it.
Let's see, I got your phone number. So why don't I text you a message, and you can text me back your name, and then I'll have your contact number. And then I think our hiring manager is going to be back in office on Monday,
Okay.
and I'll find out when he's going to be available to meet with you. And yeah, I think we'd love to meet with you. Yeah, you sound like you'd be a good candidate. And we have it's good. It's a good program we have. It really is. It's a good company. A lot of our people have worked with us for lots of years. So
All right, perfect. That sounds like a plan. So, so just shoot me a text. Shoot me that text message. I'll text. I'll get you back my information, and I'll give you my email too.
so that sounds perfect. Thank you so much for calling, and hope you have a great day. And I look forward to meeting you soon.
Of course, anytime. And if anything, I'll give you a call on Monday. Just give you a follow up if I haven't heard anything back or anything like that.
Please do. That'd be great. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
All right. So let's talk about some patterns here. One really good pattern that we see is the energy that we've talked about. When he answers the phone, he's excited to speak with that individual. And he does go in with a game plan of here's the most important thing is what kind of experience and do they have tools. One thing that we've already kind of talked about is there's probably a few more questions we should toss in there before moving him on to the next step to really understand, could this be a good fit? You know, whether it's double clicking, which just asking another question about the thing that they just said, or some of the motivation stuff that we talked about. What are they looking for so that we can determine if it's a good fit or not? And so that's kind of some of the beginning stuff, right? Every call's got a beginning, a middle, and the end. Good stuff in the beginning, maybe missing some pieces in the middle, and then missing some pieces in the end too, where he talks about moving both of these individuals forward in the process, which is good. However, not very clear on that next step, on times. Did talk about who they would speak with next and maybe exchanging text messages to try to set that up. But while you got them on the phone call, take the little bit of extra time to be very clear on the action items that individual should be taking and the action items that you should be taking so that everybody's on the same page, because it's going to increase the likelihood that that interview actually happens. So I would encourage you, as you're listening to your own phone calls or somebody else's, look for patterns, right? It's easy to point out one thing in one call at one moment of time, but if you listen to a few of them and you start to see the same things, it'll really help you begin to uncover some of those items that will help the most, whether it's in the beginning, the middle, or the end of your phone call. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll continue to review calls together moving forward. Thanks.